Can't stop. Won't stop.
What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, I am talking about the Grizzlies winning on MLK Day. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Diamond respecting, let's go for he that MVP.
I let a bitch get away with something last night. I shouldn't have let her get away with it.
Put a foot to her ass.
Well, you said put a foot to her ass?
Right on, baby.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Put a foot to her ass. That's just what I'm going to do. Wow.
See, that's how I imagine the pregame talk between Ja and Desmond Bane went regarding the Phoenix Suns and how they acted last game after they beat the Grizzlies shorthanded. I imagine that they understood that they needed to put their foot in their ass. That's what I wanted on my last video. I told you I wanted them to blow them out. I wanted them to beat them down. I wanted them to leave no doubt which team was better. Now, it started off a little dicey in the first quarter, and luckily for me, I was able to attend the game, and it was a wonderful, wonderful game to attend. Loved it. The atmosphere was good, as always, but the first quarter was kind of dicey. The second quarter was kind of dicey to the second half of the second quarter, where the Grizzlies ended up taking the lead by halftime, and at that point, I was satisfied. All I wanted them to do was take the lead into halftime. I was telling the people I was sitting around, that's all we needed to do. And in the third quarter, they just really went crazy on them. Crazy. And I was hoping, I said, please get this lead up to 30 points. Please get this lead up to 30 points. And hopefully the bench does not mess it up. And they got the lead up to 30 points. And the bench did not mess it up. There was a lot of notables from this game. The first notable was Ja Morant. Of course, we're going to start with Ja, the leader of the team. Ended up with 29 points in 27 minutes. He hit 5 3-pointers in the first half. 5 of them things. 7 assists, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover. They were locked in for this game. He played a real good game and was flying around the court defensively. I mean, when Ja's athleticism is talked about, people never talk about it on defense. But he was using his quickness and his leaping ability to challenge shots, to get in front of guys who were catching kick out passes. He was rotating very quickly. I mean, he was locked in defensively. It was wonderful to see. Especially wonderful to see because somebody was online saying that he was still a terrible defender. I wouldn't say he's a great defender, but he's pretty much an average defender right now. Average, maybe below average when his concentration and effort level wanes, but he is at least average with the chance to be better than average most nights if he wants to. Secondly, we had Desmond Bane, who looked like himself again, like the guy we saw pre-injury, Desmond Bane. 10 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 28 points in 27 minutes. Crazy. And then the last member of the Big Three, Jaren Jackson Jr., the Black Panther, y'all. The Black Panther had another good game. Now, He had foul trouble in the last game that kind of limited him. But this time he played 26 minutes with no fouls. 18 points, 6 blocks, 8 rebounds, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 5 of 11 from the field, 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Just a crazy good performance by Jaren Jackson. It looked like he wasn't going to even get hardly. It didn't look like he was going to continue his streak of multiple block games. And then all of a sudden, he just started throwing everything. 6 big blocks. Dillon Brooks had a good shooting game, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And this is about the sweet spot for Dillon Brooks. 8 shots, 1 turnover, and he played harassing defense on Landry Shamet. I swear, if Taylor Jenkins would have subbed Dillon Brooks back in the fourth quarter against Landry Shamet to pick him up full court, I think Landry Shamet would have punched him in the face. He took him completely out the game in the second half. Just physical defense. He got a tech. And for yelling at the ref because the ref didn't call the elbow Landry Shamet threw at his face. It was crazy. He was full Dillon the villain in this game. Steven Adams was his normal good self. 8 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 or 5 from the field, no free throw attempts. Now the bench played well also. Tyus Jones didn't have his great shooting game, 4 of 12 from the field, but he had 10 points, 8 assists, 1 turnover, 4 rebounds, and he continued his streak of multiple three-pointers in a game. I think the streak is up to 7 games. He's had multiple three-pointers. Also, Zaire Williams continued his streak of three-pointers to 10 games. He was only 1 of 3 from the field, and that was a three-pointer. Had 3 rebounds, no turnovers, 3 fouls, though, chasing people around off screens. Santi Aldama hit 2 3-pointers last night, 5 rebounds. And Brandon Clark was finishing everything at the rim ferociously throwing down dunks. He played a very, very good game. 13 points in 18 minutes, 6 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, and an assist. And, of course, we had David Roddy play 4 of 8. He was in the rotation because Conchar is still out hurt. 4 of 8, 2 of 3 from the three-point line. Had a crazy pull-up 3 off a curl that was beautiful to see. 8 rebounds, 1 steal. He was in during garbage minutes, so I don't know exactly how much of them stats were in the garbage time. But as you can see, the Grizzlies are 7th in offense now, 1st in defense, and still 2nd in net rating. They are climbing up. With Bane back and shooting like he normally shoots, shooting like himself, the Grizzlies' offense is trending up. The defense was trending up with Jaren Jackson back. So now we got both the offense and the defense trending up. And we have 40 games to go to get what we really need to do in these next 40 games. Of course, there's a rumor that Danny Green might be back as early as next month. That would be nice. I'm skeptical. But what the Grizzlies need to do is they need to find a reliable 8th and 9th guy in the rotation. Now, I like Zaire. I think he's going to be the 8th guy in the rotation. And I think they're banking on Danny Green being a 9th guy in the rotation to join Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark off the bench. And I don't think you're going to see much of – Santi Aldama might fight his way into the playoff rotation because he's playing well. But I don't think you're going to see much of him unless we have foul trouble with Jaren. I don't think you're going to see much of the rookies. And I don't think you're going to see very much of John Conchar in the playoffs unless we have, foul trouble or something like that. I think the Grizzlies are trying to lock down their 9-guy rotation. And if Danny Green can come back and contribute, I think you will probably likely see them stand pat at the deadline. You know, I'm an advocate of trading. I'm an advocate for overkill and getting as much talent as you can. I don't think our picks really matter at this point, despite the Grizzlies being a great drafting team, because you're going to run out of roster spots. That's just the reality of it. They have 3 first-rounders in the next 2 drafts, and unless they get rid of Dillon, they're going to have no roster spots. Everybody's signed for next year. So it is what it is. It's a zero-sum game with the roster spots. You only get 15 of them in 2 two-ways, and I don't see them. I think they're going to have the same guys on 2 ways next season and letting them develop and getting them a chance to maybe get a regular contract next season. But, yeah, I think the Grizzlies need to do something to make sure that 8th, 9th guy is solidified. And they got plenty of time. They got about a month, so they can see if Zaire keeps on developing and if Danny Green can get right. But if neither one of those happen, they can't depend on these unproven guys when you're talking about championship level NBA play. You just can't depend on unproven guys, and also guys that do not have the physical strength. That is the big part. That is the big problem. And I think this is the thing that a lot of people miss in the NBA. One of the deciding factors, the difference between Jaren now and Jaren 2 years ago, is strength. Strength. He looks like a different player. He looks physically, his body-wise, he looks different. And that's because he's in the weight room. Santi is going to look like a different player in 2 years. He is going to be real freaking good. Zaire Williams is going to look like a different player in 2 years. He is going to be real freaking good. I'm not advocating trading either of them. I'm saying that in Game 6 in the Western Conference Finals, you need somebody who can physically stand up to the Joker, Aaron Gordon, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Andrew Wiggins, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Zaire Williams. These guys are physically imposing. And if you have one guy who lacks physicality in your lineup, they will be targeted in the playoffs. It is what it is. I will see you guys tomorrow where I make my case for either Jaren Jackson being an all-star or Taylor Jenkins being the coach of the year. Peace.